Welcome to Ahmed's World Supernatural. Tonight, we delve into the chilling origins and terrifying legends surrounding ghouls in the Arab world. Join us as we uncover the secrets of these shape-shifting monsters and explore their insidious tactics. Brace yourself for a haunting journey into the realm of nightmares, where the line between life and death fades away. Get ready to be captivated by the dark tales that have been whispered through generations. Ghouls are mythical creatures that have their origins in Middle Eastern folklore and mythology. The term ghoul is derived from the Arabic word ghoul, which means to seize or to seize and devour. In folklore, ghouls are often depicted as malevolent spirits or demons that inhabit graveyards, burial grounds, or deserted places. They are said to be nocturnal creatures that come out at night to prey upon the flesh of the dead, as well as occasionally attacking and consuming the living. Ghouls are believed to have an insatiable appetite for human flesh and are often portrayed as grotesque and monstrous in appearance. According to legend, ghouls are shapeshifters and can disguise themselves as animals or humans to lure their victims. They are said to have glowing eyes, long claws, and sharp teeth, which they use to tear into their prey. Ghouls are also often associated with necromancy and are believed to have the ability to raise the dead or possess corpses. While ghouls are primarily associated with Middle Eastern folklore, similar creatures with cannibalistic tendencies exist in various cultures around the world. In Western mythology, for example, there are creatures such as the Wendigo in Native American folklore and the vampires of European legends. Many other legends and folklores that share similarities with ghouls. The chilling figure of the ghoul has haunted graveyards and campfire stories for centuries. Their origins, however, are not limited to a single location, but rather a rich tapestry woven from various cultures and folklore traditions. Here's a delve into the history and origins of these flesh-hungry creatures. In ancient times, the Arab nomads of Arabia had direct contact with the people of Mesopotamia, particularly for trade purposes. This interaction led to cultural exchanges between the two groups, including the adoption of certain aspects of lifestyle and borrowed words. One creature mentioned in ancient Mesopotamian records is the Galu, an Akkadian demon associated with the underworld. The Galu was responsible for the abduction of the vegetation god Tammuz to the realm of death. Considering the proximity of Akkad and Sumer to the Arabian deserts, it is plausible that the Arab Bedouins, who had contact with Mesopotamian cultures, borrowed the belief in the ghoul from the Akkadians. Prior to the rise of Islam, there were depictions of ghouls in old Arabic works where they were perceived as devilish creatures. Authors such as al-Masudi referred to older books written by Ibn Ishq and Wahb ibn al-Munabi, which explored the myths of creation held by the pre-Islamic Bedouins. According to these beliefs, when God created genies from gusts of fire, their female part was formed from a split egg, resulting in the creation of creatures like the Curub, resembling a cat. Devils, on the other hand, emerged from a separate egg and inhabited the seas. Other malevolent creatures such as the Merid dwelled on islands, the ghoul resided in the wilderness, the Esailwa inhabited lavatories and waste areas, and the Hama existed in the air in the form of a flying snake. Different descriptions of ghouls can be found in various old Arabic sources, but they are not present in Islamic texts. For example, Abu Uthman al-Jai, who compiled popular beliefs in his book Al-Ayun, the Animal, wrote that commoners believed that the devil's eyes resembled those of the Bedouins, as depicted in images. These ideas persisted for nearly 2,000 years. Arab folklore also contains stories involving ghouls. One such tale involves Umar bin al-Khattab, the second Muslim caliph, who encountered and killed a ghoul in the desert while traveling to Syria. Another story recounts how a ghoul appeared in the form of a woman and kidnapped the son of Arkam bin Abu al-Arkam during a desert journey. These accounts portray ghouls as devilish female creatures with the intent to harm travelers, capable of changing their form. They are often defeated by striking them with a sword. It is worth noting that Islamic texts do not include such descriptions or narratives about ghouls. In the 7th century, with the spread of Islam in the Arabian Peninsula, many old customs and beliefs underwent changes. Practices like burying newborn baby girls and polygamy were abandoned, but certain beliefs, such as the belief in ghouls and silwa, or sila, persisted. Despite rational voices rejecting the existence of ghouls, many Arabs, especially Bedouins, continued to narrate tales and recite poetry featuring or mentioning ghouls. These creatures were particularly popular in the desert regions, but their legend also spread to urban areas, indicating the influential role of Bedouin beliefs in shaping Arab society. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself reportedly commented on or confirmed the existence of ghouls. There are anecdotes where the Prophet advised his companions on how to protect themselves from the mischief of ghouls. For example, he recommended reciting verses from the Holy Quran or calling for prayer, as ghouls disliked any reference to God. Other Muslim scholars described ghouls as female demons capable of shape-shifting and appearing to travelers in the wilderness to deceive and harm them. However, there were also sayings attributed to Prophet Muhammad that denied the existence of ghouls. He stated, "No ghoul, no adwa, contagion, and no tayyara, superstitious omens." While these sayings may seem contradictory, many Muslim scholars believe that ghouls existed before Islam but were later eliminated by God. The Arabian Nights, a collection of fictional stories, also contains references to ghouls and reflects some of the popular beliefs of medieval Arabic culture. In one story translated by Richard Burton, a man and his companions encounter a ghoul who takes them to its cave. They manage to blind its eyes and strike it with a single stroke of the sword. The ghoul pleads for a second strike, but one of the men advises against it, stating that if struck a second time, the ghoul would not die but would instead continue to harm them. The Arabian Nights was regarded by early European translators like Antoine Galland and Lady Mary Wortley Montagu as an accurate representation of Arabic and Islamic culture. They saw it as a means to understand the customs and manners of the Eastern nations. Despite being a work of fiction, these translators considered it a reflection of the culture rather than a collection of old popular beliefs. In a story cited by Al-Asbahani and narrated by Zayd bin Aslam, two men from the Ashja tribe set out on a journey to provide a bride with her wedding outfits. Along the way, they encounter a lonely woman who offers to assist them if they promise to return to her. The men agree, and after completing their business, they return to the woman. She joins them on their journey and rides one of their camels. However, when they reach a sand mound, the woman stops and asks to relieve herself. One of the men goes to check on her but is delayed. The other man climbs the mound and discovers the woman lying on top of his companion, eating his liver. Terrified, the man flees from the woman, but she pursues him. When he confronts her, he mentions an iniquitous devil among them. The woman advises him to supplicate and mention God to protect himself. When he follows her advice, a fire falls from the sky and splits the woman in two, saving the man from her. This tale bears similarities to stories in the Arabian Nights, such as The King's Son and the Ogress, and The Tale of the King's Son and the She-Ghoul, suggesting that some Arabian Nights tales may have been derived from written texts. Overall, these stories highlight the enduring belief in ghouls in Arabic culture, their ability to change shape, and the methods for protection against their mischief. According to the Arab philosopher Abu al-Ala al-Mari and other writers, there were objections to the popular beliefs surrounding the ghoul in Arabic culture. Al-Mari, in his work Risalat al-Ghufran, stated that some Arabs had lied about the ghoul, emphasizing that anything contrary to reason must be a myth. He highlighted the story of Ta'aba Shahran as an example. Another writer, Al-Jawzi, in his book Al-Aidkaya, The Bright Ones, shared a story about a brave man named Al-Aidra, who set out to investigate the existence of a ghoul. He believed that the devil and the ghoul were mere illusions. As he explored a cellar, he discovered that the supposed fiery creature was actually a black woman who had been using tricks to frighten travelers. Furthermore, Abdul Qadir al-Baghdadi cited the Arab poet Kamil, who wrote that he found no true friend who could stand by him in times of need, and concluded that the existence of the ghoul, along with the phoenix and a faithful friend, were impossible matters. These lines of poetry have become proverbial in the Arabic language, suggesting that many Arabs consider the existence of the ghoul to be an illusion. Additionally, apart from the classical description of the ghoul in Arabic culture, there is another type of ghoul known as a shik. The shik, also known as nasnas, is a mythical creature in Arabic culture. It appears as a half-being with one eye, one hand, and one leg. It is believed to be a kind of genie that frightens or harms travelers. The Shik has been mentioned in pre-Islamic accounts and Arab folktales. Western travelers in the 18th and 19th centuries encountered stories about the Shik but were often skeptical. In folktales, there are friendly half-person characters, unlike the devilish Shik. Antoine Galland's translation of the Arabian Nights in the 18th century attributed ghouls to Arabic culture, depicting them as male monsters that fed on corpses in burial grounds. He introduced the character of Amina, which didn't exist in the original Arabic culture. Galland's portrayal influenced subsequent works without proper research. The depiction of ghouls haunting burial grounds and feeding on human bodies became the standard description in the West. However, in Arabic references, hyenas were associated with similar characteristics. Galland's portrayal embellished the ghoul's character in Western works, while the original features of the ghoul remain in Arabic culture. The belief in the ghoul is deeply ingrained in Arab culture, particularly among the elderly. In almost all Arab countries, the ghoul is viewed as a monster that consumes human beings, often used as a means to instill fear in children. Many modern stories, adapted from old Arabic folktales, revolve around this creature. For example, the Palestinian writer Emil Ababi published a story called Soraya bint al-Ghul, where a girl named Soraya is kidnapped by a ghoul and imprisoned in its palace. Another Palestinian writer, Jamil al-Salt, wrote a story for children called Al-Ghul, which portrays a small girl named Khadija who dreams of the ghoul after hearing a horrifying description from her grandmother. However, there is an alternate interpretation of the ghoul that suggests sometimes it may not be a supernatural creature, but rather individuals born with severe birth defects. According to this view, the ghoul's physical features, such as a cat-like mouth, resembling a cleft lip, and deformed legs or hands, similar to an ass or ankylodactylia in medical terms, could be explained by these congenital conditions. It is worth noting that many children around the world are born with such defects each year due to environmental factors and genetic flaws. The theory suggests that after giving birth, the mother of a child with severe birth defects may be forced to part with the child due to societal pressures. Consequently, the child would be ostracized from their tribe and seek refuge in the desert. This interpretation stems from the superstitions prevalent in Arab society before Islam. These ostracized individuals, considered ghoul-like due to their appearance, would live in the wilderness to avoid encountering other humans who would naturally fear and reject them. At the end, let's talk about some recent chilling encounters with ghouls from around the world. In 2003, 2 survivors claimed to have encountered and defended themselves against what they believed to be a family of ghouls. These terrifying beings, described as humanoid creatures, were said to have been lurking in the remote wilderness of West Virginia. They were out exploring the woods when they stumbled upon them. They had pale, emaciated bodies, sunken eyes, and sharp claws. They had to fight for their lives. The survivors' accounts shed light on the elusive nature of ghouls and the dangers they purportedly pose. Their testimonies, along with information obtained from a captured ghoul in the late 1960s by Mike Mulligan, provide valuable insights into these enigmatic creatures. Our journey continues to Malaysia, where in 2016, a dark human-like creature known as the Pangkalan Chipa creature sent shockwaves through a boarding school. It was a horrifying sight. The creature was believed to be a jinn, appearing after the local students polluted and disturbed the forest grounds. The sightings led to mass hysteria and ultimately resulted in the school's cancellation. Local officials initiated a police investigation, and Islamic scholars and witch doctors were called in to perform exorcisms. The Pangkalan Chipa creature serves as a chilling reminder of the power of folklore and the impact it can have on communities. Now, let's shift our focus to the new Louisiana swamp monster, a ghoul-like entity reportedly residing in the swamps of Louisiana. A deer hunter in Barrick claimed to have captured a peculiar image of this creature on his hunting camera. The photo reveals a being with slender limbs, glowing eyes, and a menacing mouth, resembling a cross between an animal and a human. The new Louisiana swamp monster has left locals baffled and fearful. Its existence remains shrouded in mystery, captivating the attention of the nation. These encounters with ghouls remind us of the vastness of the unknown and the enduring power of folklore. They continue to fuel our fascination with the supernatural and the unexplained. As we conclude our exploration into the world of ghouls, remember that darkness can lurk in the most unexpected places. The legacy of these creatures continues to send shivers down our spines, reminding us that true horror lies in the depths of our imagination. Thank you for joining us on this bone-chilling journey. Until next time, beware the night and the creatures that dwell within it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.